Yo, Karlissa ain't SHIT. Bro, she ain't SHIT. Bro, and I tried not to laugh. I tried not to laugh. I had to repent. I said, Lord, please forgive me. Please forgive me. So, yo, I know a lot of people go in on Karlissa, but if you really listen to her, she is a key. She is a key. And I'm trying not to laugh because it won't funny what she said. It really won't. But so check this out. So a picture's just circulated where we have an update on Chrisean Jr.'s baby. Well, Chrisean, I guess the baby is Chrisean Jr. But anyway, so okay, here's the thing. Apparently, the baby is 2. All right. So for some time now, y'all know I don't really follow Blueface, Chrisean. Not really my type of people, right? But every now and then, I may scroll, down the feed. Y'all know I work 2 jobs, so I gotta stay woke, right? So I was just scrolling down the feed, to stay woke. So somebody was well a channel was reporting on what, the picture and how people are saying that the baby hasn't been, reaching certain milestones, by a certain age. They say that a baby's supposed to be walking, supposed to be talking, you know, um, able to crawl, little stuff like that. And if the baby isn't reaching certain milestones, you need to get the baby some help, right? So, um, apparently Karlissa is saying that, she has seen Junior recently, right? And she can basically tell something is wrong. We're going to put it that way. But what made me almost holler, and I had to catch myself, because even though ain't nobody in here but me, but I still try not to laugh, when when you hear something that's horrible, but you want to laugh, but it's horrible, but you scared to laugh because even if ain't nobody around, the universe is always listening, you know. And I try not to laugh, but girl, when she said, I said, oh my goodness, she ain't SHIT, and I'm not SHIT if I laugh. But she said, she saw her grandbaby, and she didn't know if the grandbaby was looking at her or the air. What was it? Her or the air? You gotta YouTube what she said. I said, oh my goodness. She need to stop. She need to stop. She need to stop. She need to stop. And then when she said, Chrisean said something about what she wanted to do to her, but she didn't know what she wanted to do to her when she saw her grandbaby. Y'all gotta YouTube it. I said, oh my goodness, this lady ain't SHIT. YouTube what Karlissa said about that baby recently. So, here's the thing, right? I don't have any children yet. Okay? One day I will, right? Um, so I can't really speak on too much about the milestones and and everything that a child should be doing. I'm sure you can Google stuff like that, but at the end of the day, from what I'm hearing, like with my little cousins, I don't have any nieces or nephews. I don't have any siblings, so it's not like I have experience with raising. Even sometimes even when people don't have kids, they usually have their nieces and nephews, so they used to changing diapers and watching kids. And I used to babysit my little cousins every now and then, but I don't really have hands on experience in motherhood yet to know the milestones, because every child is different. Now I'm gonna say this. Now we can't do too much on Chrisean because every child is different. Like my little cousin, when he was 2, he could walk, run, jump. I mean, that little guy, he could hit cartwheels off steps. He was a boy. He's a boy. He was wild, right? So He could fall. He would throw himself off the steps, bump and hit his head, and we used to be scared. I mean, to the point where he would knot up. And I remember my big mama being scared because she did, you don't want people to call CPS on you, drop him off at daycare, and he got knots on him and stuff. People get funny, but thank God nobody did. But the thing was, he was so wild. He was so wild. He was running, jumping, like we couldn't keep up with him, right? So, but I remember my other little cousin when she was one. Oh, sidebar. When he was two, he couldn't talk. He would not talk. He would not talk. He wouldn't talk. If he wanted something, he'll reach for it and he'll cry like and he'll cry for it, But I want to say maybe around 3, out of nowhere, he would start talking. Out of why he would start talking smack. He would talk junk. He showed what with curse and everything. He just started talking. He just started talking. It seemed like he'll put 1 or 2 words together, and after a while, I'm telling you, and don't say nothing around it because he'll repeat it. But then I had another little cousin. Oh, I had another one. Around 1, going on 2, she would follow you around. She would walk behind you. But we were kind of scared because around the time she was 6 months, we couldn't get her to crawl. We could not get her to crawl. But by the time she was 1, we could get her to crawl. But crawl and walk. But by the time she was 6 months, we could not get her to crawl. And see, I'm the type, I like to hold them all the time. But they used to get on me about it. They're like, you got to put her down because we got to make sure she can reach her milestones. I remember her aunt saying that, like, we got to make sure, ain't nothing wrong. And I used to hold her because I'm one that if they cry, I feel like the solution is to hold them, right? If I put her down, she would cry. So, but I think that's probably because she was a little chunky. And that's what I used to tell them. Cause I've noticed with fat babies, it seems like the bigger they are, they don't like to sit up. They don't like to, but after a while, what I started to do was I knew she liked honey buns. So I would put a honey bun like at the end of one side of the room, and I would sit beside the honey bun. And she would just sit there and cry with her arms out for me, right? And I would just unpeel the honey bun and take a bite. And with everybody, she would cry, right? I would say, come on, you want this honey bun? You better come on, And after a while, she would get a little closer. She would, sit on, one time she was sitting on her stomach, like laying on her stomach. Then after a while, like she would scoot herself up. And after a while, it worked. You see what I'm saying? So every child is different. Until we would be there sometime for 3-4 hours. And I would just make her just crawl to me slower and slower. And after a while, she was taking off. And we used to joke about it because she used to crawl. You know how some baby crawls on both legs? She would crawl on one leg. One leg would be back, and she would just be gone at one leg. And we was kind of worried. We didn't know if something was wrong with that other leg. But wasn't nothing wrong with that one leg, the other leg. She would just crawl like that. And after a while, she was just walking. But every child is different. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm not a doctor. My undergrad is in pre-law. And my master's is in something totally different. So I can't diagnose anybody's child and say, oh, I can look at them, something wrong with them. Now, is it a strong possibility that something might be wrong with him? Possibly. But I can't say indefinitely that something is wrong with him. I can't say that. Because, hell, I have a lazy eye. So when I hear people say, when I hear people say, oh, well, his eyes are off. I have a lazy eye. I wear glasses. You know what I'm saying? So even with me, sometimes I've been told I could be looking at something and somebody say, are you looking at me or you looking behind me? And I'll say, I have a lazy eye. They're like, oh, okay. So One of my eyes are a little off ever since I was little. So, you know, when I heard, just because one of their eyes is off doesn't mean they slow. I don't know. And there's a lot of internet doctors out there. So I can't say indefinitely, um, I can't say indefinitely something is wrong with them. I can't say that. Now, we do know she used to drink and smoke a lot. We do know that. So, I would think that can affect the child, the fetus, the baby, when it's in your womb, but Chrisean was doing what Chrisean wanted to do. And unfortunately in life, sometimes when, you don't listen and you hard-headed, that's the consequences. We know she was drinking, we know she was smoking, we know she was doing a lot of partying, and she was stressed out. Sometimes people don't, stress can affect a baby too now. Stress can do just as much damage as drinking and smoking, especially when you're pregnant with the baby. Because from what I'm hearing, babies can feel the mother's emotions. So I don't know, child. But I thought that was crazy what Karlissa said. I said, oh my goodness, don't laugh, don't laugh, don't laugh. Don't laugh, don't laugh. But hey, maybe she could pick up on something we can't pick up on. Just because she may have her ways don't mean that she may not be on to something. Time will tell. Time will tell if something wrong with them. And if it is, that means she just got to get the baby some help. That's all. Just get the baby some help. Who knows? It might be something that they can catch early to get them on the right track. You never know.